Hi, my name is Leah Heywood and this is my electronic resource kit. So just a quick summary of what my electronic resource kit will be about. So it's about learning theories, the classroom layout, electronic devices, resources and support and influence within the classroom. So I'll start off by going through my learning theories. Behaviorism, because I find it such a strong and important aspect of learning. Having a reward or a positive reinforcement would encourage students to engage in the learning activity. I can see this type of learning theory to support the development of intellectual and social well-being of the children, as it will influence kids to participate in the learning activities, so that will help their intellectual development, and it will become a socially accepted thing to be able to do their work with their peers, as explained on the slide. So constructivism is my next theory. I really enjoyed learning about Vygotsky's constructivism theory, and I would like to include it in my pedagogies, as I think it's important for the students to discover their own answers and take control of their own learning, and I'll be there just to guide the student. As it was quoted, a constructive classroom is learning is constructed, the student is active and the teacher is reflective. This learning theory would enhance the student's development in the intellectual and also social, because the students would actually be relying on one another to gain the learning that is desired from the activity. So my other theory I wanted to include in this presentation was cognitism. I think it's important to understand the internal process of information as an educator. So obviously every child will have a different internal process, and I think it's important to include that every child is different, so it's important to link this theory into your classroom by getting students to link concepts together, discuss with fellow peers, problem solve, use imagery to describe an experience, and also chunking of information. This sort of theory would also help with the intellectual development, and it can also help with the social development as they're discussing with fellow peers to link concepts together and to use different other internal processes from other students to gain the best information from that learning activity. This is just a quick summary of why we want to choose it. I won't go over this because it's all stated there, so I'll just continue. So the next thing is the classroom layout. Original interpretation was just to make sure you had enough tables and chairs for every student. However, going through this unit so far this year, I've learnt that a classroom has the potential to actually support social, emotional, physical and intellectual development, and if it's not done well, it can actually have a negative impact on all these elements. So it's very important to have a positive classroom floor plan. So my interpretation of the classroom is to actually have a collaborative, bright, social, safe environment for the children to flourish learning in. So from the semester, I've actually learnt that it's important to have different spaces and also try and interpret Maslow's hierarchy of needs to produce an adequate classroom that would flourish student learning. This would mean having good seating arrangements, food like fruit and stuff and drinks available to the students when they need it, as basic needs inside the classroom allow the students to progress with their learning instead of being stuck down the bottom. Once again, just a quick summary of why I would want the classroom layout included in my electronic resource kit. Not going to go over it too much because I've got a short amount of time. So also from this year, in my first year of uni, I've also had the introduction of ICT in education. From this unit, I've learnt that technology has a negative and a positive aspect with education, and it's important to influence the positive aspects because it is such a valuable resource inside the classroom. Going through the text of Engage or Disengage, within chapter 2, it was talking about rethinking the digital divide, which makes sense considering lots of parents don't really enjoy looking at their kids at a computer screen. However, it's time to actually start influencing the positives out of it, and to get the overall idea that it has more positives than negatives, and to get that out there. I would use technology in my classroom to enhance student learning. So with technology, it would help the development of the intellectual side of things. And this is another quick summary of technology. So resources inside the classroom. So we went over the picture storybook. As an activity in this unit, we were taught to bring in a storybook and to read it to the class. From this exercise, we explored the importance of how to read a book. So it's important to use different sounds, expressions, asking questions, motivating students to think of an event they can relate to inside the story. This sort of promoting of learning actually would engage support within their intellectual, social and emotional development, as they can reflect and think back to an event that means a lot to them and relate it to the storybook. Another resource I found quite important was video clips. Having a visual can actually enhance learning, especially with younger children. By including this in my electronic resource kit, I think it is important to include video clips within the classroom. It's a fun way to stimulate learning within the students. It promotes support for intellectual development and also social development. If you get the kids to sing along with the song that's inside the video clip, it enhances social, getting them all get together and sing along with it. I think it's very important to have different resources to enhance different learnings. Again, another summary. My last topic would be support and influence. To this unit, so far this year, we've actually explored the importance of having support for the students, considering a lot of things can happen within a child's life that can sometimes downgrade their performance in education. As an educator, I've found that it's very important to have different accesses to different types of support, as it is a duty of my care to make sure all students are safe and have a good well-being inside my classroom. To provide support to the students, it helps build that student-teacher relationship that we found was a very important tool within the classroom. Having a positive relationship can also engage learning and makes the students feel a part of the classroom. Very powerful video was The Power of Yet by Carol. Very influential, and that's why I wanted to include it inside my resource kit. This video explored ways on how educators can influence a child's mindset, and it's important to make sure the children know to not have a fixed mindset, that a growth mindset can help improve their education slowly, step by step, to make sure they understand that just because they can't get past it now doesn't mean they can't get past it later. A reason why I selected these things to be included in my resource kit is because it does help support the intellectual, emotional and social aspects of a child's development. It's important to have these things inside your classroom, and from this unit I've gained all these things to include inside my electronic resource kit. I just want to say thank you for watching, and I really appreciate you viewing my electronic resource kit. Thank you very much.